Sorry about that. What I would like you to do for this last two questions is, this one is most important. So describe the process of the synaptic transmission. I really want you to think about, how do two neurons communicate? In order for you to, if you just give a basic statement about, well, it goes from one neuron to travels to another neuron, goes past the synapse. That's very basic. You only get 1 mark. If you write it how I've written here as an example to show you, so synaptic transmission is a communication between two neurons through the synapse. So it goes through something. The electrical impulse, called neurotransmitters, reaches the end of the presynaptic neuron. This causes the synaptic vessels to release the neurotransmitters. It could be serotonin, it could be dopamine, any kind of hormone that is released. These neurotransmitters diffuse across the synapse, bind to the receptor sites of the other. So remember, we go from, we're posting a message through, we're posting something through, so this goes through the other neuron. This electrical impulse is passed to the postsynaptic neuron, and the neurotransmitters are reabsorbed and ready to be used again, and that is known as reuptake. If you have the keywords like presynaptic transmission, a synaptic vessel, synapse, a receptor size, postsynaptic transmission, you are getting those higher marks because you're using key accurate terminologies, and you're using it properly as well. So that's how you get that mark. And then for the last question, this is just identify 2 biological causes of OCD. If you've got any one of these, you get 1 mark. If you've got both, perfect. So it might be the faulty SPA3 gene. Remember, we talked about how in rats that was removed, and then they started obsessively plucking out the hairs to a point where they started plucking out the skin. And that causes them to have that obsession because there's something wrong with that gene. Faulty SERT gene, the 2 high or 2 levels of serotonin, because remember, OCD is because it starts off with anxiety and the feeling of not knowing, which then leads into stress. But in order to de-stress themselves, they have to compulsively do a task to calm their stress down. It could be because of high dopamine or a faulty cleared nucleus in the brain.